9:09 here on the Big 550 KTRS. Our next guest writes more than I talk. How is it possible that Ridley Pearson is out with a new book? Friend of the show, New York Times best-selling author. His new book is called Choke Point. Good morning, Ridley Pearson.
Good morning, MvGraw.
Welcome to Big 550 KTRS and STLtoday.com. The first time you're being interviewed live on your local hometown newspaper.
That's pretty fun.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I love that paper.
Choke Point is, all right, first of all, you're going to be at the county library on Saturday.
Saturday night, 7 p.m.
7
Going
p.m.
to talk
for
about
reading.
the book, maybe read a paragraph, but mostly have fun.
Okay, and how many books is this for you?
I think it's 45.
Holy mackerel. How is that possible?
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
But you're a thriller writer.
For
crime
adults.
Writer. And you're this new world of kids writing with Kingdom Keepers and all that.
Kids' adventure novels.
We'll get to Choke Point in a second. Where are we with Kingdom Keepers and all that?
Kingdom Keepers, the 6th book is out. It's been on the New York Times list now for 9 weeks as a series, which is really exciting. I am writing the 7th book. Doing, how you now are on the Post-Dispatch's site.
Right.
I am crowdsourcing the writing of a novel. So I have 18,000 kids helping me write the 7th novel in the series.
Really?
It is the most, it's never been done,
right.
Just like your thing has never been done. It is the most fun. I pose ideas for where my outline might go this week. The kids vote on them. Kids and adults alike, I should mention. And then I ask, what would a temple look like after an earthquake? And we get 4,000 or 5,000 submissions of paragraphs,
right.
How that would be. And I vote for 1 or 2 of them, and I cut and paste that into my book, and their words will be in my bestseller next April.
So do they get, so it's by Ridley Pearson and all these...
Right, they all get credit in the book. They're all footnoted and credit at the back. It's just so exciting because we have, a couple thousand kids every night writing fiction at home.
Well, first of all, 1, it's a great idea. 2, but talk about a way to get kids interested
That's the idea.
in writing and reading.
And I just realized I had the greatest readers in the world for that Kingdom Keepers series, and it would be kind of this is the last book,
right.
And it would be kind of unfair to close the series without involving them.
Yeah. And
it just took a couple years to figure it out. So we have a free app, Kingdom Keepers Insider. And also there's webpage.com. This incredible company called Colloquy on the West Coast devised all this. It's all free. It's policed by Disney, so it's totally safe.
Right.
And these kids get on there, and we're literally writing a book with 16,000 of it.
Where is your Tony Award?
I never got one.
You never got one?
The play got 5. Yeah, Peter and the Starcatchers got 5 of the Tony Awards this time last year. And the play is still running, just slightly off Broadway. I'm going to see it tomorrow night.
Right.
And it's selling out every night. It goes on its national tour starting in August, and it comes to the Peabody next March for a couple days.
But the original author doesn't get a Tony. Nothing.
We don't get a Tony. Neither Dave Barry nor I.
Did you get invited to the party afterwards?
We did
at
not.
least? You didn't get to go to the party. Did you go to the Tonys?
No, that's the thing. They wouldn't let us to the Tonys because they have limited seats. They give give the nominees a ticket and a spouse ticket. So
that is the worst. All right.
Well.
Choke Point. Tell us about Choke Point.
Choke Point is the second in my Risk Agent series. It's kind of like a Born Identity. It's about, one of the things that fascinated me in the Iraq War were all the contractors working for the U.S. government, military contractors. Right. So John Knox is an ex-military contractor. He still works occasionally for a private security firm because he has a mentally challenged brother he has to take care of at home. He teams up with this Chinese national who's a forensics accountant, a woman, and they have these occasional jobs. This one takes them to Amsterdam to try to shut down a child labor situation, and they get all tangled up with the sort of, child labor mafia, if you will, in Amsterdam.
Right. You originally, if memory serves me right, you went to school to become a forensic expert, right?
Well, I was pre-med, and I've been to a zillion labs and whatnot. I just believe in a lot of research. So the more fact I put into my novels, the more you're going to believe them is my theory. So something like Choke Point, I went over to Amsterdam. I went to all the places, interviewed people, did everything, came back, wrote the novel.
Love the fact that you're shedding a light on child, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a story that's not getting enough attention.
No, and it involves tens of millions of kids, and the real creature beneath the rocks in all this is, and it's exploited a little in the book, is that the parents often don't want these child labor outfits shut down, and they don't help investigators because they want the income. As meager as that income is, their kids are off 12 hours a day making the money, and they don't want that shut down. And the conditions are awful, and yet the parents let their kids be in it.
Yeah. How do you write so prolifically? I mean, how do you do that?
You know, I just I spend a lot of time behind the screen. I think it's like an attorney having several cases.
Right.
I enjoy what I do. I love what I do, and I put in about 5 hours a day on the adult books like Choke Point, and take a little break at lunch for maybe 30 minutes and put another 4 or 5 hours in on the kids' books.
Do you ever find yourself pulling up the wrong file and having Choke Point seep into some of these?
Do you have a camera in my office? Since we did this thing of crowdsourcing the Seventh Kingdom Keepers, the simple explanation is that when you write a novel, you write it, send it to an editor, rewrite it, send it back to the editor.
Right.
Maybe there's one more rewrite. Because we are doing everything real time on the internet, so we're posting a new chapter every week.
Right.
There are 14 steps between my imagining the chapter and it getting online with everybody's input and my input in it.
Right.
And we have 2 of those going a week, so I have 28 different files to keep track of. And that actually has become the joke of this whole thing is how do you keep track of that many files?
That in and of
I'm
itself.
too old for it.
That in and of itself is a book and a story
I'll
about
tell
how
you,
you
well,
do that.
it's taken us weeks and weeks and weeks to figure it out, but
Yeah.
we now have a system that seems to be working.
All right, Saturday night, St. Louis County Library, right there on
7
Lindbergh.
p.m., yep.
7 p.m. book signing and a book reading. Ridley Pearson's new book, Choke Point. Before we let you go, your charity here in St. Louis, which you roped me into doing over there.
I did.
How's that going for us?
America Scores St. Louis. It's doing great. I mean, we're approaching 3,000 kids who've moved through it. It's for middle school kids in schools that would be considered underprivileged. They don't have afternoon sports. The teachers train as soccer coaches, and the kids play soccer Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but they stay after school Tuesday and Thursday and write poems, write lyrics. We finally have been able to quantify it. They all are getting better test scores and better grades than their peers who aren't doing America Scores St. Louis.
Right.
It's a national program, so it's just fabulous.
And it's the carrot and stick approach.
It is, exactly. They have fun. They get a sport they've never been part of, soccer. We give them coaches. We give them uniforms, nets, the whole deal. And for that, they stay after school, stay off the streets, and do really amazing poetry.
Well,
as you've heard.
Yeah, well,
it's incredible.
It's the fact that for the first time probably in their life, people are actually taking an interest in them.
Yes, and listening to them.
Right. So whether it's soccer or whatever sport they're playing, they feel value.
Yeah, they gain
themselves.
Self-esteem. It's just so great.
But you're right. Once they sort of feel that, it's sort of their inner voice comes out.
Yeah.
And they write, and they're honest, is just brutally
my gosh,
honest.
What they write about just shakes you up.
Yeah. All right. So 7 p.m., Choke Point, bookstores everywhere, Amazon.com, bookstores, wherever fine books are sold, Choke Point, and then you'll be at the county library at 7 p.m. And then what's this app for the crowdsourcing?
Kingdom Keepers with an S Insider. It's a free app.
Free app. All right, good.
Thanks, MvGraw.
Safe travels, and we'll see you down the road.
You got it.
Ridley Pearson, 7 p.m. Saturday night, St. Louis County Library for another book signing and a book reading. His new book, Choke Point. Check that, 9:18. Back in a moment on KTRS.